So we were given £9 million to spend. We didn't spend it all, but we spent quite a bit. Welcome back into the LNM Sports YouTube channel here for the Killie boys on Football Manager 21. If you're not subscribed already, do hit that subscribe button for more Football Manager 21 content as we continue here with the Killie boys into season, 6 now? It must be. Goodness me, a long time indeed. Start off today with our balance sheet. Our finances, as you can see, we're fairly healthy at the moment. Probably one of the most healthiest we've ever been. At one point earlier on in the season, we're at 14 million, but 11 million overall in the bank at the moment. Mainly because, obviously, of the Etienne sale, which made a big difference to our finances. And we haven't quite paid for Alan Graham yet, even though he's due. We're due to pay them £18 million. A lot of it's through instalments and things like that. But yeah, £11 million overall balance, which is why we were given such a large transfer budget for this coming season. You can see we still have £5 million available. We didn't spend a huge amount, and a lot of that's actually down to £5 million because I converted a lot into wage budget as well, which you can see we're currently 196,000 wage budget, and we're only spending 152, so we're not even anywhere near that either. But yeah, I've held you off long enough. Let's go and have a look at some of the transfers. Let's start with the outs. It's a couple of interesting ones. So the major out we have to talk about is Eamon Brophy. He's away to Red Star Belgrade now for £2.3 million, possibly raising up to 3.2, I think it is. He was worth about 4 million. We got some money for him because, as you can see, last season was his first season that he did not get into double figures for goals in the league. He did in total because he scored some goals in continental competitions as well. But yeah, 8 league goals in total in his 29 games for us in the league. It wasn't his best season. I was worried he was starting to decline. Getting to 29 years of age, I thought, let's try and cash in on him now when we can. And we did that. A couple of £1 million for him, more than happy for that. We were able to reinvest that in a couple of other players as well, which should hopefully improve the squad as a whole. So that was the first out, Eamon Brophy. Another one that's maybe slightly surprising was Bailey Peacock Farrow. We sold him to Dundee United for £350,000. Not bad for a player we got on a free last year, played maybe a dozen times, and then we're making £350,000 on him. He was a very, very good goalkeeper, but we did bring in another goalkeeper into the squad, which we'll talk about in a bit. And it meant I really had to get rid of one of the three because they were all very similar quality. And in fact, we were able to get £350,000 for Bailey Peacock Farrow. More than happy. Disappointing that he's going to a rival in Dundee United, but hopefully shouldn't come back to bite us too badly. One player I mentioned last season, and possibly the last episode, maybe the one before that, who I thought was good as a kind of squad player to cover lots of positions, was Thomas Hill. He was never going to start for me, though his ratings, suggest he's the 3-star player in a lot of positions for us, 3.5 in the middle of the park, stuff like that. He was never really going to be a starter for us. So Huddersfield came in with a bid of £250,000 for him. I was more than happy to take that again for a player who we managed to get for free. I was happy to sell him on. His star rating makes him look better than he is. His stats aren't great, to be honest, so I was more than happy to move on from him. A player who we actually didn't see anything of, really, in his time at Kilmarnock. He'd been out on loan at St Johnstone and Rotherham, and now we've sold him to Marseille, was Easton Hughes, the Welsh right back, who we signed for a free from Manchester United. £425,000 we were getting offers for someone we signed for free and had never played. I was more than happy to accept that. He's certainly not as good as Cammy Logan or CJ Egan-Riley. So to get that sort of money for him is perfectly fine. I was very surprised when Marseille came in for him because he doesn't look like a Marseille quality of player. We'll see what he does when he's there though. But yeah, £400,000 for him. And one of the ones that I'm maybe slightly disappointed with is Dougie Green going away. That just ended up, after some of the transfers I brought in, he's never really been a proper member of this squad. You see, he played 2 games his first season, 14 all off the bench in his second season playing games for us. Had an okay loan spell at Partick, and then last season only played 9 appearances for us, scoring 2 goals. Not prolific enough. And obviously with selling Brophy, you'll probably work out we have brought in more attacking options on top of Alan Graham, who was already coming back. So we ended up moving him on £100,000 in Middlesbrough. He's already worth 300,000. That's thanks to the way that the English leagues bump up the values of players. But yeah, sad to see him move on. We'll see how he develops, but he wasn't ever going to be first choice for us, unfortunately. So yes, let's look at the ends. For anyone that forgot, we did sign Alan Graham in the winter transfer window, and he was back on loan at Hamilton, so he's come back here now in this summer window, and he is going to be our first choice striker. 17 finishing, 17 composure, 16 technique, 16 teamwork off the ball, 14 first touch, 15. There's some very good statistics. I'd like him to be slightly faster, possibly, but I think he could be quite good as a finishing machine, and we just need someone to finish some shots for us. There wasn't enough goals from our centre forward last year. That was a problem. Rodell Richards being our top goal scorer coming in from the right wing. So if he could score some goals, I don't care if he does nothing else. So long as when the ball comes to him, he finishes it. That's all I'll be looking for, and that's why we paid him the big money. Well, not him the big money. We paid Hamilton the big money to get him. So Alan Graham is going to be our first choice striker this season. But remember, this is not a new signing though. We did get him in January, but it feels like a new signing because he's actually with us now. We've added some competition up front. Obviously we lost Brophy and now we lost Dougie Green as well. The reason for that I was happy for that is we've invested the money from Eamon Brophy, £1.5 million of the £2 million in Ross Forrest, who's a striker for Hibs, who we've been looking at. You can see he's not actually scored a huge number of goals according to his history at Hibs, but I was very impressed with his movement the times he played against us. He can also play on the right hand side and in behind the striker if he needs to be, so lots of kind of options for him to play, especially if you've got someone like Rodell Richards who gets injured, which no surprises, Rodell Richards is still injured. Remember, he was out for about 3 months at the end of last season. He's still injured at the moment. Ross Forrest isn't playing on the right in today's game, spoiler, but he's got that capability to do that, and he'll be very good coming off the bench to fill in either of those 3 positions. Again, physically very good. His finishing's 11, first touch 12, but he's got good technique, good teamwork. Looks like he'll be a good player. Determination 14, work rate 15. Some nice stats there, and happy for £1.5 million to bring him in. And for £800,000, we've also brought in another attacking option, young Scottish option. 3 young Scottish strikers we've got now. It's Finn Malcolm, who we signed from Dundee United. See, he scored 9 goals last season in 34 games, 23 of them being starts for him. Again, looks a nice well-rounded player, finishing 14, first touch 15. Some good finishing there. His physical stats look quite good as well. Just a wee bit of something different. We've now got 3 really high quality strikers, as well as Rodell Richards, if you include him as well as one of our strikers, which we really should, even though he's become a kind of first choice right winger for us. I'm very happy with our attacking options now. 3 young Scottish strikers up there, which also helps with our registration rules as well. But Finn Malcolm is the third of the 3 strikers. We've got Graham, we've got Forrest, and we've got Malcolm now as our 3 strikers. The reason we were happy to sell Peacock Farrow is Nathan Trott was signed for just £88,000. He had been signed by Livingston and he had a relegation release clause of £88,000, and Livingston did get relegated. I know he conceded 68 goals in 34 games last year, which is not great, but statistically he actually looks quite good. He's got good handling, good reflexes, good one-on-ones, aerial reach, all kind of in the low to mid-teens. And again, good physical specimen as well. More than happy to have him here as a backup. It says he's going to be first choice. I might need to tell him he's not going to be first choice. But he was costing us less in the wages than Peacock Farrow. And we were able to sell Peacock Farrow for a profit. So we've swapped Peacock Farrow for Trott. We're spending less money on wages. And we've made about £250,000 worth of profit on it. So I'll accept that, certainly. So Nathan Trott is our new backup goalkeeper. Someone we already knew was going to be coming back was Robbie Burton. We've signed him on a permanent deal on a free transfer after his loan here from Norwich last season. Very good player, worth £3.5 million now he's here. Nice, well-rounded player, can play in that midfield role or in behind the striker. Going to be a good player for us as an option in midfield. You see, we're still going to play, I think, Kastrup and Makaronitis in the midfield as a first choice, but Burton's more than capable of being that third or fourth choice option in there. Happy to have him back in. But another option we've signed for the middle of the park, or perhaps a slightly more defensive option, who we're going to have to try and improve his kind of ball skills, really, is Garrison Velasquez here. The Peruvian, we signed him from Alianza in Peru for £500,000 was his release clause. I'll be honest, looking at him, he's got very good physical stats, nice anticipation, bravery as well. Teamwork 16, passing 17, tackling 16. He's the ideal ball-winning midfielder, really. Sits in there, defends well, and then passes the ball away. I would like for him to be able to be a box-to-box midfielder, which would need to improve his dribbling and his first touch and things like that. We'll see how he does with that. But certainly if we get to a stage where we need to play a ball-winning midfielder or even a defensive midfielder as a ball winner, he could come in, especially in the tough games. If we go and play three in the middle of midfield instead of the attacking midfielder, he could be that man sitting in there. Potential ability, looks very good indeed. Good physicals, good mentals. Trying to improve some of those technicals, which are ones you can, increase with training. So hopefully he does improve in those technical skills. He's in the squad just now. I might try and send him out on loan. I've not quite decided. We've still got a month left in the transfer window. We'll see what happens. Another defender that we've brought in, I don't know if I mentioned this before, was Bjorn Hardley. He was on loan at Rangers last season from Man United, where he ended up getting player of the season, I believe, or young player of the season, or something like that. We signed him in a free transfer, and he looks very, very good indeed. 4-star current ability, both at centre-back and at left-back. We've mainly played centre-back, to be honest, for us. I'm now having a debate whether Spence, Hamilton, Hardley, who gets that game at centre-back. We've got very, very good defenders, to be honest, at this club. And it's going to be interesting to see who ends up taking those roles. I don't think I want to play him at left back. I think I want to play Kokavas there because I've really been happy with Kokavas. So we'll see what happens. But physically, outstanding. Look at all those greens. Mentally, he's got mentals good in the right place there, and defensively, marking, tackling, positioning, heading. Really good statistics for a centre back, especially there. 6'3". Yeah, that's what you want for a centre back. A nice tall centre back. And I think it's going to be very, very good. See, we're paying him as a star player. He probably should start. We'll see what happens. But the first game of the season, which we'll get to see just a moment, the team's kind of picking itself in defence. We'll get to that in a minute. So one of my main points I brought up at the end of last season in the episode kind of reviewing the season was we needed someone to play in that left midfield position, left winger. We didn't really have a high quality option there. And one player who I brought in, who I hope may be that player, for £675,000 from Blackburn, is Darren Buck. You see, physically, acceleration, great agility, balance, nice pace as well, 15 there. Maybe could do with improving technically, crossing, dribbling, first touch could perhaps be slightly better, but he's 20 years old, chance to develop here, and we'll see how he plays at that left winger position. If he doesn't do it, he only cost me £600,000, and that sounds like a lot of money. And initially for Kilmarnock, but in the scheme of things, with how much money we were offered given to spend, is not too much at all. And to give him competition, we've also signed on loan Mehdi Leris from Spezia. You can see he's quite a well-rounded player as well. Nice physical stats, some nice flair, crossing and dribbling's at 12, first touch 14. Again, another option, can play both sides. Good kind of cover if need be, and can play in behind the striker or actually up front as well if he really, really had to. Again, more a kind of squad option, I think. Though his current ability suggests he would be our first choice left midfielder, I'd like to give Buck a chance since he's an actual player and not just in on loan. So all in all, we spent about £4-ish million and brought in about £3.5 million during this summer window. So not spending too much money compared to how much we brought in. And that leaves the squad looking like this. We've actually quite well rounded in a lot of places. Again, my only problem I think is possibly that kind of left wing position. But we'll see how Darren Buck plays. If he plays well, then we'll be happy with that. And Bolly's got a chance to play there as well, but not in this first game because Rodale Richards is still returning to fitness. You can see from the injuries down the bottom there, Camille Logan, Kokavas and Egan Riley are all injured. So we have 7 defenders in the squad, 3 of them injured, which means the other 4 get to play. It's as simple as that. So looking at the team for today's game, it looks like this. In the first game against Aberdeen in the Scottish Premiership, we're going to play with Robbie Much in goal. Jordan Brown gets the game at right back. Hamilton and Spence trying to improve their partnership in that midfield, and Hardley gets his debut at left back instead of centre back, where he will probably play a lot of his games. Max Reunitas and Kastrup get the game in midfield with Tate just in front. Bolly will replace Richards on that right hand side. Darren Buck gets his debut on the left, and Alan Graham gets to play up front. The bench is Trott, Woods, who's technically a defensive cover because we have no defensive cover at the moment. Velasquez, Robbie Burton, Larice, and then Malcolm and Forrest as the two attacking options sat on the bench there. It's not been a common occurrence for us to have several strikers on the bench to bring on to replace them. And Eamon Brophy we kind of relied on for the last 5 years up front. So it's interesting to bring in some nice young faces and see how they do. All of them very young indeed. You see Graham here, 17 years old, going to be leading the line for us. Finn Malcolm, 21 to come off the bench. And Ross Forrest, 19. So a 17-year-old leading the line. Very interesting indeed. Let's get on with this game. You can see who's been promoted as well. Dunfermline and Queen's Park have come up. Queen's Park is a very interesting story. At the start of this save, they were playing in League 2 and they won. They then had a season in League 1 and then they won a season in the Championship and then they won. So they've had a meteoric, that's a hard word to say, rise up the league. And it's going to be very interesting to see how they do now they're in the Premiership. I think they could be the whipping boys of the league, but we'll see what happens. And also, I really like their away strip as well. Yeah, I mean, who doesn't like that? That's amazing. Apparently, the greens, oranges, and reds are all to do with their wins, losses, and draws throughout history. Something like that, their fixture list. I'm not exactly sure, but it's really, really interesting indeed. But today we play up against Aberdeen. We played a few friendly games, which I haven't shown you, obviously, and we won most of them. I think we drew one of them. We played fairly well in those. Hopefully, we do the same in this game today. But it's not a great start. Cosgrove's through on goal, but it's well saved from Robbie Much. First chance of the game for Aberdeen. Another chance for Aberdeen here. Corner kick swung in, but Bolly gets it clear. And here comes Alan Graham with the ball. Now let's see how he does his first professional, proper, full-time start for Kilmarnock here. Played a couple of friendlies, but his first actual competitive start for us here in the league. Cassop's got the ball now. Plays out wide, I'd assume, to Hardley, who looks a very, very tall man. Very big man there. Good to see him at centre-back eventually. Kastrup with the ball here. What's he going to do with it? He plays it to Macrianitis, who hits it. And what a goal for the first goal of Kilmarnock's season here. Stelios Macrianitis. Goodness me, what a finish. The two central midfielders playing very well together here. Kastrup with the ball. Finds Macrianitis on the edge of the box, and he hits it first time. Left-footed. Right in the top corner. No goalkeeper saving that, I should say. And 1-0 to Kilmarnock after half an hour. And just as I was questioning how Queen's Park were going to do, they're up 2-0 against Hamilton, which maybe they're not going to be as easy to beat as I thought. We get to half time here, winning 1-0. And a throw in for Aberdeen early in this second half. Hoban gets it. Back to Hernandez, and what's going to happen? Plays it infield to Hansen. We're kind of giving them a high press here. Let's see if we can win the ball back. Cosgrove flicks it on, and Spence coolly collects it and finds Jordan Brown, who's third choice right back, but getting the game today because no Egan Riley and no Logan. That was a poor pass from Macrianitis. And Hernandez has got it now for Aberdeen, and McLennan and Ferguson. And we've got a chance down this left if we can win the ball back. It doesn't look like we're going to, though. Ferguson finds McLennan. Out to Hernandez, hardly trying to track them back. Ferguson swings the ball into Kennedy, and the ex-Kilmarnock man scores a goal for Aberdeen. Always seems to happen, doesn't it? He always seems to score against us. A nice finish from Kennedy at the back post there. Some poor defending, to be honest. We didn't really close down the cross well enough. And then Jordan Brown loses his man at the back post. 1-1. Throw in for Kilmarnock here. Hardly finds Kastrup. And what we're going to do now down this left-hand side, the ball played forward to Graham, who swings the ball into Bolly, and that's some nice work from the team there. Graham into Bolly, and 2-1 to Kilmarnock. Hardly with the ball down the channel. Graham gets there, in behind the centre-back and full-back into Bolly, who loses his man and slots that in. At the front post, the keeper can't even get a chance to save it, and that's 2-1 to Kilmarnock. Impressive teamwork there, nice pass and play from the team. Alan Graham had a nice assist there, but we're going to bring on Finn Malcolm instead for the last 20 minutes of this game, I think. I'm going to make another wee change as well. Darren Buck struggling out there comparatively compared to the other midfield players. He can come off, and we'll give Larice a go and see if he can do something down the left-hand side. To be honest, I've been fairly impressed with what I've seen of Buck so far, but maybe give Larice a try. Larice? I'm not sure what to say. We'll see. The ball being passed about from the goal kick here at the back. It's found Charles Bolly on the right midfield position. What we're going to do here, Bolly loses the ball to Devine, and Devine gets challenged by Macrianitis, and Brown wins it back. And could we perhaps build something here? Dylan Tate finds Larice on the left-hand side. What's he going to do? Down the line, he plays it back to Hardley. and Hardley finds Kastrup. And Kastrup hits it, and he tried to get a goal similar to his midfield compatriot, but it wasn't quite good enough. I'm going to bring Charles Botley off, and we'll bring Ross Forrest on the right-hand side for the last 5 minutes, just for some fresh legs out there on the wing. But it looks like time is ticking down here, and we're going to win this first game of the season 2-1. A nice dominant performance, I'd say that. 59% possession, 19 shots to their 9. Expected goals, we did win it as well when we had more corners. I'll be honest, I was very, very impressed with that first performance of the season for the boys there, and I hope we can kick on. So that was a very nice win against Aberdeen to start the season. And what we'll do is we'll come back fairly soon and we'll give you both games against Jetussi, who are from Kazakhstan, in our third qualifying round of the Euro Cup 2. Show you some European football to begin with here. And if we win that, the next game after that will be the next round of that. And I'll also give you an update of the Dunfermline game in the middle of it as well. Maybe not show you the game, but certainly talk to you about the result, which has been shown on the telly because we're playing on this Sunday, because we are in Europe here on the Thursday night. If you did enjoy that episode, I know it was a bit talky with all the transfers, but hopefully you'll see we've rebuilt this squad, pushing on, and their aim is to definitely get third place. We'd really like Champions League football again. That will be the real aim, to be honest, but third place is a minimum in my mind I want this season. So if you have enjoyed this episode, I know it was a bit talky, but I was just telling you all about this rebuild. We're going for top 3, really want Champions League, but top 3 will do me fine if we can get there. So I say, yeah, I know it was a bit talky, but if you did enjoy, please do leave a like, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, share with everybody that you know, and we'll see you tomorrow for some more Killie Boys here on Football Manager 21. Until the next one, see you then.